What's up, YouTube? It's Fix It Vic, and I'm here to give you 5 tips on how to get started flipping cars right now. Okay, now before I get into that, I want to ask you to subscribe to this channel. Hit that bell notification so you can get notified when I make more videos, and please like my video if you like it. But if you don't like it, then just like it or don't like it. You know, I don't know. Okay, we're gonna start with number 1, and number 1 is about the money. It all starts with the money. How are you gonna get the money to pay for your first flip? Either you have some money and you could go and pay for a car, whether it's $1,000 or $500, whatever it is. Just know that the lower the amount of money that you're gonna have on your first flip, whether it's $200, $300, more than likely it's going to be a lot more work that's going to have to go into that car. So your money, when you don't have a lot of money, your money is going to be your energy, your time, your sweat, your hustle. All right, if you got if you have money, you want to try to stick in a price range of around maybe $300, $500, $1,000. Though when you get closer to $1,000, those cars, depending on the area you're in, are gonna be more in the condition of actually running, maybe have AC, not too bad bodywork. Okay, so when at the beginning, what you want to do is you want to spend the least amount as possible. You're gonna make mistakes, and you want to make those mistakes as costly as possible, but that's probably not going to happen. You're going to make mistakes, things are going to happen, but the smaller amount that you're looking for, you want to be in the price range of around where your car is going to sell for maybe $1,000 to $1,500 in your first vehicle, which moves me to my next point. Okay, tip number 2 is what kind of cars should you focus on for your first flip. Okay, so like the car I'm sitting in right now, it's a 2000 Honda LX, and it's in decent condition. It was running already. AC, I had to fix the AC, a few other things, but this is the type of vehicle as your first vehicle that you want to be involved in. You don't want to get into something that's going to be too much work or it's going to be too much of a headache. So you want to take your first vehicle and you want it to pretty much run, and you want it to pretty much have the things that you don't know about. Unless you're a car mechanic and you know things about cars, then you're out ahead of the pack. You're ahead of the game. So in a nutshell, what you want to focus on is getting cars that pretty much are in better shape mechanically and maybe less shape cosmetically, and you won't have as much of an issue dealing with the cosmetic issues because they're easier to learn how to fix things like a doorknob or maybe a window regulator, certain things like that, a fender, things like that. Tip number 3, and this is one that I don't hear a lot of people talk about, but I think it's important that each flipper knows what type of flipper you are. Okay, are you a flipper that buys things and you're handy and you can fix things yourself, or are you a flipper that has money and you can purchase a vehicle and pay a mechanic and buy the parts and you're just flipping like that? All right, if you know that you're not a car person or vehicle mechanic, whatever you want to call it, if you're not that type of person, don't waste your time, because you're going to spend a lot of time educating yourself on vehicles and educating yourself on different things, and that's going to take a lot of your time away, and it's going to make you a lot less effective, and that's just not the thing you want to do. So if you're not a mechanic type of person, you're going to need a little bit more money, but you can still be just as effective by putting the people in the right places that know how to do the right things, if you know what that means. Okay, number 4 is very important, knowing how to diagnose a vehicle. All right, this is very important because you need to know how to figure out how much it's going to cost to get the vehicle in the condition that you need it to be in to get the price that you want to get it for, therefore giving you how much you have to purchase it for. You have to, when you're diagnosing a deal or diagnosing a vehicle, you have to be able to come to a point where you know how much you have to purchase the vehicle at, the price, because that's where you win at, is when you purchase the vehicle. So knowing the price that you need to end up around puts you in a far better position when it comes to my next point, negotiating. And that is where the bread and butter is made at. Tip number 5 is negotiating. All right, you need to know exactly how to negotiate, the best way to negotiate with someone who's selling a car. A lot of times people are selling cars and they have the idea that their car is worth a lot more money than it really is worth. All right, most people think that just because they have such and such amount of money in a vehicle, that's how much money the car is worth to them. But a lot of times, if you go off of that as your basis of how much your car is worth, then you're never going to sell your car, or you'll never buy a car. If you believe that theory, you won't buy a car or sell a car, because it's totally not the truth. The market determines the price of a vehicle, and the market changes seasonally. Every year the market continually changes, so the market is what's going to determine how much your vehicle is worth, and how much you need to purchase the vehicle, the price you need to purchase the vehicle at, so that you can put the money into it to get it back in the condition that it needs to be in to go for market value. Those are the type of things you need to know in order to be able to negotiate, because you need to be able to bring up points in order to further push the price where you need it to be at. Okay, and now for the bonus, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into my computer and I'm gonna show you a live example into my computer how to go on the Craigslist and certain filters that you can put in, and how to find your first vehicle in your area. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in here and into my computer, and I'm gonna show you how to find your first deal and come out on top. Okay, here we are. We're in Craigslist, and I'm gonna take you to the front page. All right, now what you want to do is you want to make sure you're in your local area. You want to make sure you're on the home page, and what you want to do is go over to for sale, go down to cars and trucks. All right, once you're on the page where you are, what you want to do is you want to click on owners, because you only want to look at cars sold by private owners. If you want the latest, click on post today, but I don't do that. I actually rather look at cars that have been on a little bit longer, but I make sure that it's 100 miles from where I am, so you can gauge about how far you're looking. Price wise, I put 100 as minimum, so that we don't get the $1 scam ads. And then my max, I put at $1,000, because that's the price range I like to be in. If you like certain cars or years or whatever, you have all these different things that you can do, and then you just push update. And what's going to happen is now it's going to populate all of the things that are in that parameters you just set. And now what you want to do is you want to look for a good deal, like we spoke of before, in a price range. I typically like to use price range between 500 and 1,000, maybe a little less if it's in good condition. It's just a good deal. I also like to stay away from American-made cars if they're older. If they're newer, I would mess with them, only because the values don't hold as long on as the foreign cars, and foreign cars are a lot more desirable. People want them more. I've looked at a lot of these ads, but you basically just want to go down and find a good ad. This ad I've looked at already. They're asking $950 for it.
Um, there's really no issues with it. Um, Pretty clean car, nothing wrong with the body. Very clean wheels, sunroof, top. Um, Paint still all intact. Just needs to be really kind of cleaned up, and it also needs a uh, vehicle speed sensor. Um, what I do is I contact the owner of the vehicle, set up a time to go see it, and once I go see the vehicle, at that point I can gauge better how much the vehicle is worth, and at that point I'll move into my negotiations with the seller and try to get the best price that I possibly can get for this vehicle, because the price that I buy it for is going to determine how much money I make. And I also like to look up on Kelley Blue Book. As you see, 2003 Chrysler in my area. It doesn't say the miles on the listing. I just guessed it on the high end, 200,000, and it's saying that the car is worth between 2,000 and approximately 30, around between 2,000 and $3,000. Excuse me. So this is a pretty good deal. Car's been on there for 30 days, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to the people and speak to them, and I'm gonna try to get this vehicle at around 600 or 700. Put on the shift sensor, which is probably between 50 and um, between 50 and $100. I know I said I don't usually do American made cars, but these in my area, I've looked, these are desirable cars, and I believe it's worth it. I believe it'll sell. Um, I think it's a good deal. I'm gonna go take a look at it to see what's going on with it. Also, a few other ones that I've looked at. This one needs a new head gasket. It's $600. Head gasket will probably cost to get put on $300 or $400. Put you at $1,000. Hondas are usually over market value. They usually sell for over market value, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue. I don't know what this is. It doesn't say a name. Probably something worth looking at. That looks like a Volvo. Clean title. Yeah, that's a Volvo S40 for $1,000. I've had a Volvo personally. Not too crazy about them. Expensive to fix. Clean title, cold air, 120K miles. That's not bad. Might need a fuel pump. I put a lot of new parts, new oil pan, alternator, routine maintenance done. Please note, car was listed for 2,000 previously. It does not have a dent in the hood and broken headlight now due to a branch falling in my yard. So I mean, this car could probably be gotten at a cheaper price. So it's a broken headlight and a dent in the hood. Alright, well, that's pretty much it. I'm just showing you how to maneuver around Craigslist a little bit to find you a good deal. So I mean, this is a good tool to find good deals on. So I mean, you could just come in here and figure it out, man. Just come in here, find you a good deal, maneuver some prices, talk to some people, and you just never know where you'll land up. Hope you find you a good deal. If you like this video, please subscribe. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell so you get more, so you get notified when I make more videos. And let's get this money, man. Keep working, keep hustling hard.